Hey, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and mute you all. Okay. And we're going to give it a few minutes for people to pop on. I'm muting it again because people are getting in here without it being muted. All right. And it's 7:02. We're going to get started at 7:05. We just wait for everybody else to pop in. I'm just putting a message in the meeting, in the groups, to remind everybody. Right. I think for the people that normally do the meetings, they're thrown off because normally the meeting's at 7:15. Which actually was just my error. It probably should have been 7:15. I just didn't realize it when I did it. Hey, 2 more minutes. Just a reminder, these meetings are recorded. All right, I have lots of notes to keep me on task, so I don't go on too many tangents. I'm sure people will join late. Okay. So we're going to get started. This is just macros 101. It's a review for some. It's new for a few of you as well. I'm surprised there's only 8 people, but I'm guessing they're thinking the meeting's at 7:15. So I'm just going to get going here. So the first thing is everyone that is new, and I'm not going to keep saying that because you're on here. If you're staying on, you're on here just to listen. This meeting's meant for the new people. But I love that there are continuing on people coming on for a refresher. So everybody should have their macros in their app. Everybody has a 17-page report. And I'm going to tell you guys how to find that 17-page report. When you are on your dashboard where you see your macros, your numbers, at the bottom, you're going to see a little fork and knife icon. Depending on how your phone is set up and your app is set up, there's a fork and knife app icon. Once you click on that, you're going to see your name, and it's going to say Summer Shred into Summer 2023, and it looks like this. This report is 17 pages about you, about your food, about how you can hit your numbers. Everybody has gotten them when they first start. everybody gets it. You don't get it when you stay on. It's just the first time. And then once I recalculate your macros, I just recalculate your macros. But the report is meant to educate you on macros, proteins, carbs, fats, different ways to get that in. So every single person that is in the app has that in their app. If you don't see it, look for the fork and knife. It is there. I put them all in, make sure everybody had them yesterday. Also, looking at your app, it should look like this on your dashboard. If you are logging food, you're going to see lines like this if you're logging your food. They should not be gray. If they're gray, that means that we are not synced with whatever food app you are using. If they are blue, that means you did not hit your macro. If they are red, that means you went over. So those are all important things. If you look at it at a glance, I'm going to try and find somebody here. So this one, this means that this person didn't hit her calories and she didn't hit her carbs. So everybody needs to write this down. I talked about it in the welcome meeting. It's in your ebook. You must hit your macros, your proteins, your carbs, and your fats every single day. You get a 10-gram leeway for your proteins and your carbs, and you get a 6-gram leeway for fats. That means you could be over or under by 10 or 6. Not 27, not 13, not 9. Well, 9, yes, because that'd be over or under by 10. Not 12. So if I start to see that, I'm going to reach out to you and say, hey, what's going on? And normally people say, oh, well, I thought if I didn't eat as many carbs as you gave me, I'm going to lose weight faster. That's not what happens. I ask you a bunch of questions when you first come into the program so that I can calculate your macros. And that's based on all the things you told me, your daily activity, your job, your exercise. And that's how I figure out your activity level, how much food you should be eating every day. It is science. It is 100% going to work if you follow it by the book. If you decide you're only going to do it 5 days and not 2 days, then don't bother doing it. If you're just going to follow Monday through Friday and Saturday, Sunday, you're going to be like, screw it, I don't want to do this on the weekends, it's not going to work. Let me refund you right now. I'm here because I love what I do and I want to help people. I'm not here to become a millionaire. You can look up 5 different nutritionists online right now, and 4 weeks is over $300. I don't charge nearly that because I want to see people change. I want to have success stories. I want you guys to feel amazing. So I have no problem refunding anyone that tells me within the first week that this is not for them. No questions asked. And sometimes I will say, hey, I think I need to refund you your money. You're not understanding. Or, you know, it's just not the right click, culture, fit. You know, you have to click with your coach too. It does get easier, I promise. The first couple of weeks is going to be super frustrating trying to hit your numbers, but that's where you have to use me. Let me help you. I have turned on in the Shred into Summer group where the only new people are in. If you hit your nutrition numbers, you will get a shout out. It starts tomorrow. So everybody's going to start logging food, and we're going to talk about that so we can start practicing. Every day is a practice day. Every week is a practice week. Every day you're evolving, you're learning. So don't think, oh my God, I only have 4 days before the challenge starts. It's an 8-week coaching session. And then it continues on if you want to stay on. In the 8 weeks, you can lose up to 8 pounds. I don't calculate it for any more than that. But if you happen to lose more than that, good for you. But in order for it to stay off, it's £1 pound a week. Anything more than that, it's not going to stay off. Okay. So your most important thing we want to focus on is that protein. The protein is the hardest one to hit. Everyone thinks they're eating enough protein, and pretty much no one's eating enough protein. When you're eating your protein, it helps with your energy level. It helps with you being full, muscle recovery, muscle growth. So when you're looking at your macros and you're looking at the numbers, the easiest way to look at it and think about it is a budget. So I always relate it to your household budget. Let's say that you have $5,000 household budget every month. Out of your $5,000 budget for the month, you take away your house, you pay your house right away, you pay your car payments right away, you pay your insurance, all the big bills. And then whatever's left, you use for your hair, your skin, your nails, go shopping, whatever it is you want to do, right? So it's kind of the same thing with macros. You have a daily budget. You're going to take out the bulk of your food, the bulk of what you're eating, and whatever is left, you're either going to have to bump up what you're eating or pop in protein bars or a protein shake or Quest bars or something to hit your numbers. So let's say you have 150 proteins. The easiest way to hit your numbers is to take that and divide it by 3 and then take away 10 to 20 each one. So let's say it's 150 divided by 3, that's 50, 50, 50. So then you break it down to 40, 40, 40. That leaves you 30 grams of protein, let's say, that you can use for a protein shake. Now you have meal 1, meal 2, meal 3 that you know you have to get 50 grams of protein. It's not easy to do that, especially because we have been so trained and embedded in our heads that we only eat 3 ounces of protein at dinner, 3 ounces of protein at lunch, 1 egg for breakfast. What are you, a freaking bird? You have to eat to fuel your body. Food is fuel. So 6 to 8 ounces, and you guys can write this down, 6 to 8 ounces every single lunch or dinner. And depending on what your breakfast is, you cannot not have protein your first meal. So if you're the type of person that runs out the door and grabs a piece of toast, you're never going to hit your macros and you're not going to learn how to eat properly. Now, your first meal might not be when you run out the door. I leave at 3:30 in the morning. I don't even eat until 11:30. So everybody's first meal might be different. You might be a teacher and you leave your house and you don't eat until you get to your classroom. And then this is totally hypothetical. You get to your classroom, you're like, oh, I'm going to eat a yogurt really quick. That might be your first meal. It might not be your first main meal. So don't worry about that, but you've got to think about your main meals. And that yogurt could be helping you hit your proteins. I mentioned in the welcome meeting that everybody should be watching Food in My Kitchen, the Zoom meeting, Food in My Kitchen, because I talk about the different types of yogurts there are. And some yogurts have 12 grams of protein. Some yogurts have 15 grams of protein. Some yogurts have 20 grams of protein. I keep all of those in my refrigerator because at some point I might need 12 grams of protein and I can grab one of those yogurts. Or I might need 15 or 18 and I can grab one of those yogurts. It's easy, it's accessible. Besides protein, you want to make sure you are pre-logging your food. So we are all grab and go, get out the door, stop at the store, grab food, go to 7-Eleven, go to fast food. That's not going to cut it. That's why we are in the position we're in. That's why we're struggling to lose maybe the last 5 pounds. Maybe we're struggling to build that last 5 pounds of muscle. Maybe we have 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 pounds to lose. If you don't think about what you're putting in your mouth and you're mindlessly eating, how are you going to reach your goals? I used to hear all the time, well, I only eat 1,200 calories a day. I don't know how I'm gaining weight. Well, 2 reasons. 1,200 calories, you're not a mouse. You need to eat enough food to support what you do. Nobody should be 1,200 calories. No one. And the other reason is because when you're eating 1,200 calories and you don't know out of the 1,200 calories, how much of that is carbs, how much of that is proteins, and how much it is fats, how do you know you're eating you could be eating all carbs and fats. That's why you're not losing weight. That's why you're not seeing the scale move. That's why your body fat's not going down. That's why you're not building muscle. All the reasons why you're here. So in order to reach your goals, you have to reset your mind. Reset how you think about your food every day. Sit down and think, what am I going to eat tomorrow? What are your staple foods? Like I know every day I have a core protein shake. It's 28 grams of protein. I know every day I eat mush oatmeal. I know every day I eat a yogurt. I know every day I eat cottage cheese. Like there's things I know I eat every single day. Those are the things I put in my app immediately. Sometimes I'll do it the night before. Sometimes I'll do it in the morning before I leave for work. And sometimes I'll be sitting here at 3:30 in the morning and I have all my food out and I'm scanning before I walk out the door. As I'm packing it into my lunchbox, I'm scanning it. Before I eat anything, I scan it. I log it. Because once you eat it, there's no turning back. And let's say you want to eat sweet potato fries and you're like, I'm going to eat 26 sweet potato fries. That's 2 servings, by the way. But then you go and put them in your log and you're like, oh shit, that puts me way over in my carbs. I can only eat half of that. So let me go in and change it. And now I hit my numbers and then I take off half those fries off my plate. Because it's all about portion control. You can have anything you want, but it might not be those 3 slices of pizza. It might not be the double order of sweet potato fries that you cooked. So really before I cook it, I always look to see how much is left in my my daily budget. So like tonight, I'm having broccoli, I'm having chicken, and I'm having sweet potato fries. Before I even sat down for this meeting, I put it all in my app to see if I have everything left. And I still had room for more carbs. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna eat more sweet potato fries. So I bumped up the amount of sweet potato fries. So when I'm get ready to go cook it, I could eat more. I had put down that I was going to eat 10 ounces of chicken breast, but I don't need that much because I had enough protein throughout the day. So I'm only going to eat 8 ounces of chicken breast. So if you put it in ahead of time, before you eat it, you can make all the adjustments. Same thing goes if you're eating at a cafeteria or a restaurant or wherever you're going. Put the food in before you eat it, because if it doesn't fit in your numbers, you need to pick something else. It's playing macros Tetris. You might really want that cheeseburger with fries, but you forgot that at lunch you had something that was pretty heavy. So now you don't have the room for that cheeseburger and fries. You're going to opt for something else. There's no forgiveness with that. It's not like, oh, well, I'm just going to eat it anyway, or I'm going to work out a little bit harder. Your numbers are your numbers, and you want to stay true to that. So you want to plan ahead. You want to bulk up your meals. You always want to have stuff in your fridge and your pantry that you can grab and go. That's where the Zoom comes in, really handy, that I told you guys about. There's also the share meetings. And then there's a couple of meetings about how to get your proteins in. Even though I do them again, they're already in the YouTube. You can watch them at any time. Get grab and go options, almonds, pickles, deli meat, apples already cut up. Whatever it is, like you can do rice cakes, 2 rice cakes in a bag. That's 26 carbs, I think. Whatever you do, just put in baggies and get them ready to grab and go. I always pre-package my granola. I count out my almonds. I count out my Cheerios, and I put them in baggies so that when I'm ready to go, I can just grab my thing and I don't need to worry about it. And I just log it in my app and it already knows, because I do it all the time. We're going to plan a day and we're going to look at it together, hypothetically, virtually together. So like tonight, when we get done, I'm going to ask you guys to start logging your food for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I'm going to look at it at 2:00 in the afternoon or 3:00 in the afternoon and say, hey, you might want to do this. Let's look at this. Let's change this. What's for dinner? Oh, I don't know what's for dinner. Well, what do you think you might have for dinner? You always have to think ahead. Think about what you're going to do. I want you guys to keep in mind that yes, fruits are great, but fruits are carbs. A lot of them, majority of them. So berries, strawberries, blackberries, blueberries, raspberries. Those are all great fruit options. Apples are great if you need carbs. Bananas are fine if you need carbs, but keep in mind, bananas are heavy carbs. So it might be great to have bananas, but you might only get to have half of it. If you love carbs like I do, I don't want to drink a banana in my protein shake and not be able to eat that 42 carbs. Because it could be anywhere between 28 and 50 something carbs in a banana, which is crazy. This is going to be a huge, huge eye opener for people looking at numbers. Right now, it doesn't seem like anything, but eventually you're going to look in your refrigerator and you're going to see numbers. Like, how many is this? Oh, I can have this. You're going to start rattling it off just like I do. It's going to be like second nature. You do not have to cook if you're not someone that cooks, that doesn't cook. I don't cook. My air fryer is right there, right on the counter. I don't ever take it out. I think I'm showing you my air fryer. Yes. I use my air fryer. That's what I'm going to cook with tonight. I'm going to put my grilled chicken breasts in there with my broccoli, with my sweet potato fries, close it, go back in 20 minutes, and it's done. If you're not one to use an air fryer and you don't like to cook, Ideal Nutrition is great. I have 6 Ideal Nutrition meals in my refrigerator. I eat them for lunch. They have really good protein muffins. You know, you can go there, you don't have to order a plan. They have storefronts where you can just go in and buy 1 or 2. Also a great option if you're on the go and you don't know what to eat, you can go in there and microwave them and eat them right there. They have like a little cafe kind of thing. Salmon is great as far as antioxidants, but salmon is fatty. So people are like, oh, I eat salmon 4 days a week. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, give up your fats, you can have it. Whitefish, not so much. Mahi, cod, tilapia. I know tilapia is a bottom feeder, but it's still a fish. It doesn't matter to me which fish you eat. So salmon, sea bass, and mackerel are all very high in fat, very high in fat, depending on who cooks the sea bass, but a lot of times it's very high in fat. Avocado, we all know, is a fat. It's a healthy fat, but you still have to count it as a fat. A fat is a fat, a carb is a carb, and a protein is a protein. We count carbs as whole, not as, oh, but it's, what is it, saturated fat or this fat or that fat, or, you know, if I take out the fibers, does that count? And it all counts. Just like 1 pound is 1 pound, whether it's a pound of fat or a pound of muscle, it's the same thing as if it's carbs that you take away the fibers or you leave the fibers, all the same thing. So people are always like, why do you track macros? Why have you been tracking macros for, I mean, I'm thinking up to like 18 years tracking macros every day. The number one reason is it's flexible. It gives you freedom when you're on vacations, in your daily world, going out for dinner. You're not set in stone where I can't eat that because I'm only allowed to have non-fat cottage cheese with an egg white. That's like not real. Like there's no way for anybody to live like that. Or I can only eat this much fish or chicken. How do you live like that? So this tracking macros gives you the flexibility. You're not on a rigid plan. You make your own food choices. You are in control of your destiny. You can eat the food you enjoy, you can eat out, and you can even have alcohol. And we're going to talk about alcohol. I saved that because everybody asked about it. I haven't put you in any of the actual food groups yet, which I'm going to do after this meeting. I just wanted to make sure that we had this meeting before I overwhelm you with more groups. But there are a lot more groups. But once you're in there, you're going to see a cheat sheet group. And if you message me and say, I have this many carbs and this many fats left to eat, what should I do? I'm going to say, let's pull out the cheat sheet. And I go over it with you and say, look, you can have this, you can have this. Because the cheat sheets are going to be your best friend. They're going to help you every day until you start to understand what you're eating. Another positive thing about tracking macros is it's easy to adhere to tracking macros versus a diet. When we restrict ourselves, what's the one thing you think of? What you're restricted from, right? You can't have Twizzlers. Well, that's the only thing you're going to think about for the next 3 days is Twizzlers. When I quit Swedish fish, that's all I thought about was Swedish fish for the longest time. And then it goes away. But anything you can't have is what you want. Isn't that always the case? So you won't see progress when you restrict, so we don't restrict. It just makes it a lot easier to stick to when you're doing it. And then the best part is your macros evolve while you change. As you change. So it could be as you're losing body fat, it could be as your life is changing, it could be as your fitness routine is changing. I can tweak it if you have an event coming up. It's always ever evolving. Like I am going on a cruise and my 50th birthday is coming up. So I've taken my macros and dialed them in a little bit. Just so I can lean out a little bit more. So when I'm in Italy, I can eat a little bit more and gain a little bit if I needed to. And there's always ways to tweak it. Then I'll come back and I'll dial it in again. So you dial it in, you can go on maintenance. If you have an event coming, you're going somewhere, I put you on maintenance calories, you still look what you're doing, but you don't necessarily have to track. People always say, I'm not going to track when I'm on vacation, and they always do. Because it helps you stay in control. And that's one of the number one things about macros is it helps you be in control of your destiny, of where you need to be, right? All right, let's go back into this. Okay, so let's talk about some tips for getting in your protein. When you are making your eggs, like hard-boiled eggs per se, you can take like 18 eggs, hard-boil them all, take out the yolk from half of them. In a baggie, you take 1 whole egg with the yolk, so you get some fats, and then maybe take 2 whole hard-boiled eggs, just the whites. Put them in baggies. You have 3 right there ready to go. It'll help put a little bit of a dent, maybe 15 grams of protein out of your day. If you eat oatmeal, take a scoop of protein powder, put it in your oatmeal. If you eat yogurt and it's plain, or if it's vanilla, take a scoop of protein powder and put it in your yogurt. The ratio yogurt is like 20 grams of protein. And then if you put a scoop of protein powder in it, right there is 50 grams of protein, depending on your protein powder. It actually tastes really, 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 really good. I also buy the Lily's mini dark chips on Amazon, and I'll put those in there too. That's the thing you want to write down, Lily's dark chocolate chips. They're teeny, 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 but they go a long way. You can definitely have a protein shake every single day. You choose what protein shake you want to drink. I have no say over that. I'm not going to say, oh, you need to drink isogenics or any of that crap. I don't do any of that stuff. I don't buy into any of that stuff. But yes, you definitely probably will need one, or a protein bar, or both. Every day I eat a protein bar, I drink a protein shake, and I eat Quest chips. But I also have over 200 grams of protein every day. So it's a lot harder to get them in. But I do the same way you guys do. I break it up throughout the day. I split it up, figure it out that way. Another way to get protein in is chicken broth, bone broth. You don't have to drink it, but you can cook, like make a soup with it. It will help you. You can make a good cabbage soup. And when you know you're down in proteins, just eat some of that broth. I always tell a lot of people when they're like, but I'm sick. If I'm sick and I don't want to eat, I'm like, make chicken broth. Make a bone broth. Put a little bit of chicken in it. Make yourself some chicken soup. The number one way to get your protein in is to bulk up your meals. Make sure that you guys are eating enough protein at every single meal. Focus on your proteins first and foremost. Everything else will fall into place. So for the first week, focus on getting your proteins in. You might not hit your carbs and fats. I'll help you hit them. We'll work together to hit those. But more likely, it's going to be the hardest thing is to get your proteins in. I'm jealous of people that message me and say, I can get my proteins and I can get my fats in, but I can't get my carbs in. I'm like, are you kidding? Go eat some chocolate rice cakes. Go eat bread. Like, you can eat that. Have rice. Have a potato. Like, those are my favorite things. Have pasta. But I don't eat pasta, but have pasta. I always get rid of my carbs always go fast. Cottage cheese is a great way to get in some protein. Things that we don't think of. You can have tofu. The tuna pouches are a great way just to grab and go and get 20 grams of protein in without even thinking about it. As far as weighing and measuring, yes, I would get a scale to learn what things look like, what things weigh, but not to depend on it forever and ever and ever, amen. So when you're home, if you weigh 6 ounces of chicken breast every day, eventually you're going to know what it feels like, what it looks like, and you won't need to do it anymore. Or if you're at a restaurant, you obviously can't weigh anything. Sorry, my contacts are so dry. You won't need to weigh anything, but you could always ask the waiter also, hey, how much chicken do you guys give in your meals? They will always tell you. They have to know. That's how they run their business. So yes, I would definitely suggest getting a scale. They're like $10 on Amazon. No, is it required? It's not. But the more accurate you are, the more you're going to see results. If you're guessing and winging it, it's not going to work. Do I need to log my vitamins? So no, you don't need to log your vitamins unless you are me and your vitamins are gummies. I take 7 different gummy vitamins every day. That is equivalent to over 40 carbs. So look at Drew's face. She's like, are you kidding? So the reason why is because I do the apple cider vinegars. I do the sugar bear hair gummies. And I do my Goli melano, whatever it is, the ones that make you chill, whatever they are, the Golies. I've actually dropped a bunch of other ones because I was like over 55 carbs and I was like, I want to eat my carbs. I don't want to have my vitamins, but that's the only reason why you would need to log your vitamins. If they are not just pills, you have to log those. As far as salt goes, we need salt in our diet. If you don't have salt in your diet, it's very hard for your body to eliminate toxins, and you will also could be get dehydrated. So I never say don't salt anything. I salt everything. I salt things before I even eat it. But if you drink your half your weight in body water, half your body weight in water, then your body will eliminate it anyway. As far as Crystal Light, all those things, you can always put that in your waters. I have no problem with that. The zero drinks, vitamin waters, all those things, those are all fine. You can even have, I wish Vince was on this meeting. You can even have a Diet Pepsi if you want. If that's something that you need to have, you just track it. As far as alcohol goes, and if you drink, you're going to want to listen to this. The FDA does not regulate macros for alcohol. So when you get a White Claw or you get a Truly, it might say 4 carbs. It's bullshit. Sorry, it's not real. It's fake. They're lying to you. You're going to take that bottle, you're going to look at it, and it's going to tell you it has 120 calories. Then you are going to decide, am I using these as carbs or fats? Because there's no such thing as protein in alcohol. Budweiser came out with the protein beer. It's bullshit. Don't buy it mentally and don't buy it physically. Whatever your alcohol is, it could be wine, it could be a White Claw, it could be Tito's. You're going to get the caloric number, and it's either carbs, fats, or both. If you're using carbs, you're dividing it by 4. So if it's 120 and you divide it by 4, you're using 30 carbs for that one drink. If you're using fats, you're dividing it by 9. 9 divided by 120 is roughly 20 carbs, 20 fats. You could split it. You can use some carbs, some fats. But you will have to make your own entry in MyFitnessPal or in my app. You cannot scan alcohol. It will lie to you. So in my app, when I used to drink, because I haven't drank since September 12th, when I used to drink, I have things in my app that says Shannon's, what's it called? Shannon's Happy Juice, I think it was called. It's been so long, I don't even remember what it was called. Let's see. Oh, here. Shannon's Wines. Shannon's Wines when I use fats. Tito's and soda when I use carbs. Shannon's Wines when I use carbs. So I have already made those entries. So when I go use them, they're already there. Because that's the only thing I drink was white wine and Tito's when I did drink. And you can have alcohol. And there's no restrictions on anything. You could have birthday cake. You could have a cupcake. You could have whatever your heart desires, as long as you account for it. And we are going to practice. When you get off the Zoom, you're going to start logging food for tomorrow. It's fake. It doesn't have to be real. I want you just to think about things that you normally would eat and start building your day. And you're going to get immediately say, oh, wow, I only usually have 3 ounces of food, at lunch. And what you're going to realize is you're not eating enough at all. As people think they're eating too much, you're not eating enough at all. Like if you were to have a sandwich, in order for it to be 6 to 8 ounces, it's 6 to 8 slices of deli meat. My sandwiches, I post pictures of them, are this big. This fat, like Ben's Kosher Deli, they had the right idea, except obviously their meat's not meat you want to use. Although it'd be great if we could have corned beef and pastrami freaking every day. That would be the best, with a little bit of Thousand Island dressings. But no, we can't do that. We could if we accounted for it. But I love how Cheryl's laughing, because I know she's like, wow, that sounds really good. Does sound really good. But yeah, your sandwiches have to be thick because you have to get those 6 to 8 ounces in. If you don't do that, you're not going to hit your numbers. So that's what we're going to practice. You're going to really focus on food you currently eat, how it's going to fit into your day, how it may not fit into your day, or let me ask Shannon how I can put this into my day. Over the next couple of days, you're going to have a lot of questions. And we have our question and answer meeting on Saturday. I think I said it was at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. I can't remember which one, but I will post it. If I don't get any questions, I have a plethora of questions from previous challenges that I'll bring to the table. For people that like Oreos and crappy food that's not really good for you, I'm not going to put you on restriction, but if you want to have one and you can control yourself, have one. If you have to have that piece of chocolate at the end of the night, I have a Yasso bar every night. I put it in the app first thing in the morning. When I used to drink on Friday and Saturday nights, I would put it in before I even left the house in the morning. If I know I'm going out for dinner that night, I'll put it in the morning so I can work my way around that meal. And I mean, we pretty much know we're going out. We don't really know where we're going most of the times unless we make a reservation. But I always think ahead. I know there's something that I shouldn't be eating, so I just plan around that. Okay, I'm going to let you guys start playing with your numbers. I'm going to add you guys to all the groups. I'll be asking you guys at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, can I look through your numbers, through your logs? And you'll say yes or no, and we'll go from there. Saturday is a Q&A. And then we're off and running on Monday. If you're currently in the Shred Tribe, we go back to business on Monday. You guys should still be focused on doing what you're doing. All right, everybody have an amazing Wednesday night.